Disrespect is an inevitable part of life, but how we respond to it defines our character. Drawing on the wisdom of Stoicism, this video explores powerful strategies to handle disrespect with grace and integrity. By mastering our reactions, practicing empathy, and focusing on virtue, we can transform negative encounters into opportunities for personal growth. Stay tuned to discover how you can rise above disrespect and maintain your inner peace. What is Stoicism? Stoicism, an ancient philosophy rooted in the teachings of thinkers like Zeno of Citium, Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, offers a timeless guide to navigating life's challenges with wisdom, resilience, and tranquility. Originating in Athens around the early 3rd century BC, Stoicism teaches that the path to a fulfilling life is found not in the pursuit of pleasure or avoidance of pain, but in the cultivation of virtue, rationality, and self-control. The Stoics believe that our emotions are a result of our judgments and perceptions, rather than the events themselves. This insight forms the foundation of Stoic practice. The idea that while we cannot control external circumstances, we can control our reactions to them. This philosophy encourages us to approach life with a calm and rational mind, enabling us to respond to situations thoughtfully, rather than impulsively. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of living in accordance with nature, both in terms of understanding the natural world and accepting the natural course of events. By aligning our will with the natural order, we learn to accept things as they are, rather than as we wish them to be. This acceptance is not passive resignation, but an active engagement with reality, allowing us to focus our energy on what truly matters, our own actions and attitudes. In essence, Stoicism is about mastering one's inner life. It teaches us to rise above the distractions and disturbances of the external world, and to find peace and purpose within. The Stoic sage, the ideal to which all Stoics aspire, is someone who has achieved this mastery, responding to life's challenges with equanimity and wisdom. But what does this ancient philosophy have to do with handling disrespect in the modern world? As we delve deeper into the Stoic approach to disrespect, we'll see how these timeless principles offer practical tools for maintaining our dignity and integrity in the face of adversity. Understanding disrespect. Disrespect is a complex and multifaceted experience that can manifest in various forms. It might come as a sharp comment from a colleague, a dismissive gesture from a stranger, or an outright insult from someone close to us. The experience of disrespect often triggers a cascade of emotions: anger, hurt, frustration, and even a sense of helplessness. In today's world, where interactions are increasingly mediated by technology, disrespect can be encountered not only in person but also through social media, emails, and other digital platforms. The anonymity of the internet often emboldens people to say things they wouldn't say face-to-face, making the experience of disrespect even more prevalent and, at times, more vicious. But why do we feel so strongly about disrespect? At its core, disrespect challenges our sense of self-worth. It threatens our ego, our social standing, and our relationships. When someone disrespects us, it can feel like a personal attack, leading us to question our own value or the value others place on us. Yet, from a Stoic perspective, disrespect is not about the other person's actions but about our interpretation of those actions. The Stoics teach that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about those events. In other words, the disrespect we feel is not inherent in the act itself, but in our perception of it. Understanding this principle is crucial to dealing with disrespect in a way that is consistent with Stoic philosophy. By recognizing that our emotional response is within our control, we can begin to shift our focus from external events to our internal reactions. This shift empowers us to handle disrespect with composure and grace, rather than allowing it to provoke us into negative emotions or actions. Let's take a closer look at how this works in practice by exploring the Stoic response to disrespect. The Stoic response. When faced with disrespect, a Stoic would first ask themselves, "What is within my control?" This question lies at the heart of Stoic practice. It reminds us that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control our reactions to those actions. This distinction between what we can and cannot control is fundamental to maintaining our peace of mind and living in accordance with Stoic principles. Pause and reflect. One of the first and most important steps in responding to disrespect is to pause and reflect. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to react impulsively, to fire back a cutting remark, to escalate the situation, or to withdraw in anger or hurt. However, Stoicism teaches us to take a step back before reacting. This pause is not about suppressing our emotions, but about giving ourselves the space to choose a response that aligns with our values. By taking a moment to breathe and reflect, we create a buffer between the stimulus, the act of disrespect, and our response. This buffer allows us to assess the situation more objectively and to decide on a course of action that is both rational and virtuous. Let's take an example. Imagine a scenario where a coworker makes a snide remark during a meeting. Your immediate reaction might be to defend yourself or retaliate. However, by pausing and reflecting, you give yourself the opportunity to consider the broader context. Is this remark a reflection of their own insecurities? Is it worth engaging in a conflict that might disrupt the team's harmony? How can you respond in a way that upholds your dignity and the Stoic principle of maintaining inner peace? This practice of pausing and reflecting is not just about handling disrespect in the moment. It's about cultivating a habit of mindfulness that permeates all aspects of life. By consistently applying this principle, we train ourselves to respond to challenges with wisdom rather than impulse. Practice empathy. Another key Stoic strategy for handling disrespect is to practice empathy. Empathy, in this context, means making an effort to understand the other person's perspective, even if their behavior is hurtful or unjust. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, often reflected on the idea that people act out of ignorance rather than malice. In his Meditations, he wrote, "Whenever someone has done wrong by you, immediately consider what notion of good or evil they had in doing it. When you see that, you'll feel compassion instead of astonishment or rage." This insight invites us to consider that disrespectful behavior often stems from the other person's struggles, insecurities, or misunderstandings. By recognizing this, we can shift our focus from our own hurt to a more compassionate understanding of the other person's situation. For instance, if someone snaps at you without apparent reason, it might be because they are dealing with stress or personal difficulties. Instead of taking their behavior personally, a Stoic would try to understand what might be driving it. This doesn't mean excusing bad behavior, but it does mean responding with patience and kindness rather than escalating the conflict. Empathy also helps us to maintain our composure. When we see disrespect as a reflection of the other person's state of mind rather than a reflection of our own worth, we are less likely to react with anger or resentment. Instead, we can choose to respond in a way that is consistent with our values and with the Stoic ideal of maintaining tranquility in the face of adversity. Focus on virtue. The final strategy in the Stoic approach to handling disrespect is to focus on virtue. Virtue, in Stoic philosophy, is the highest good and the key to living a fulfilling life. It encompasses qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When faced with disrespect, a Stoic would ask themselves, what is the virtuous response? This question guides them to act in accordance with their principles rather than being driven by emotions or the desire to retaliate. Take an example. Responding to disrespect with kindness and integrity might mean calmly addressing the issue rather than engaging in a heated argument. It might mean choosing to walk away from a situation that cannot be resolved peacefully. It might mean setting boundaries in a way that is firm yet respectful. Focusing on virtue also involves letting go of the need to win in a confrontation. The Stoics believe that true victory lies not in overpowering others, but in maintaining one's character and dignity. By prioritizing virtue over victory, we can navigate conflicts in a way that preserves our integrity and contributes to our overall well-being. Moreover, by focusing on virtue, we turn potential conflicts into opportunities for growth. Every challenge, including the challenge of dealing with disrespect, is an opportunity to practice and strengthen our virtues. Whether it's patience, humility, or courage, each situation gives us a chance to develop our character and become more resilient. In conclusion, handling disrespect through the lens of Stoicism involves a fundamental shift in perspective. Instead of seeing disrespect as a personal attack, we can learn to view it as an opportunity to practice self-control, empathy, and virtue. By focusing on what is within our control, our own reactions, we empower ourselves to respond to challenges with wisdom and grace. The Stoic approach to disrespect is not about passively accepting mistreatment, but about actively choosing a response that aligns with our values and contributes to our growth. It's about transforming negative experiences into opportunities for self-improvement and cultivating a mindset that prioritizes inner peace over external validation. Remember, it's not about what happens to us, but how we choose to respond. By applying the principles of Stoicism, we can rise above the provocations of others and maintain our dignity in the face of disrespect. In doing so, we not only protect our own peace of mind, but also set an example for others, showing that true strength lies in the ability to remain calm, compassionate,